What the f happened to Eden Hazard? Today's video, I'll be going through one of the most questionable football transfers that we've seen in last recent years, and in my opinion is possibly the worst piece of transfer business in football history. From the player that was before he joined, to then after he left for such a huge sum, to such a huge transfer, such huge expectations. The story of Eden Hazard is debated to be one of the worst stories I've seen, the saddest stories I've seen, and I will go into why, because there's some quotes that happened years before, which gives us a reason to believe that Eden Hazard, his fall isn't all completely due to himself. Yes, he does have some responsibility. However, this could be a story for not just Eden Hazard, but for a lot of footballers nowadays, and how the main story is that footballers are not protected. They're not protected in terms of on the pitch by referees, and in terms of the football that they play and game time. And this may open up a debate of the likes of when Jurgen Klopp goes in about the 5-sub rule. It gains weight to the words that he's saying. And you know what also gains weight as well? Probably Eden Hazard. Yo, do you play FIFA 22? Yeah. Is your team bang average? You absolute pathetic piece of... You're saying that to the viewers? No, obviously. Ah, okay. I mean you. Do you face teams like this? You can't keep getting away with it! Do you know there's a way to get coins? Why are you shouting at me? Then go to userbuy.com for the cheapest and most reliable place to buy your coins on FIFA 22. Link is down below in the description, and also use code Vizeh at checkout to get a discount. Tell me down below in comments, what do you think is the worst transfer in football history? For me, I think this is the worst for every single thing that goes in it combined, from expectations to the transfer fee to just the collapse of just like, it's just sad. It's not like he was playing and underperformed. He just didn't play. Before Eden Hazard joined Real Madrid, this was his injury history. So you can see here that between the 2012-2013 season to the 2018-19 season, he missed these games, okay? From hip problems to a knock to thigh problems, 21. In a space of 6 seasons, he missed 21 games for Chelsea with injuries. How many games has he missed for Real Madrid, you say? Well, just by looking at this, it's a lot more than 21, okay? But exactly how many games he's missed is not exactly like pinpointed. It could be 50, it could be 61, okay? For how many games he's missed, it's quite a lot over the span of only 3 seasons, okay? And the worst part is that it's for several different reasons, from it's a hamstring, for just being a normal muscle injury in his thigh, from having a hairline crack in his foot, from ankle injuries to thigh injuries to abdominal influenza. Like every single thing you could imagine he's gone through in the last 3 years. And it has affected how he's played football completely. I mean, look at this right now. So this is always goals that he's scored in his entire career. Look at it. Leo goes to Chelsea. That's all 1 season. Another season, okay? Only that year, in 14-15, scored so many goals in that year. 15-16, poor season for him, okay? Then 16-17, back to his best, okay? Happy days. Look at all these goals for Chelsea. Real Madrid comes in. Guess what happens? 6. He scored 6 goals over the span of 3 seasons. He scored 4 goals the year before that, 1 being a penalty, and then he scored 1 this year against Elche in the round of 16. He has got 10 assists though for Madrid, I guess, but he's only played 65 games for Real Madrid, and I believe a good chunk of them is off the bench. The worst part is for Eden Hazard is the fact that he went for 115 million euros as a fee. The worst part is Eden Hazard left Chelsea at the age of 23, almost at the prime years of his career, and he went for a fee of 115 million euros, which is a ridiculous amount of money, and at a time it looked like an amount of money which is worth it for Eden Hazard. At a time he was, and he should have been, the real deal. Now he's got a market value of 18 million euros. From 150 million euros, getting 6 goals in 3 seasons, missing over 50-60 games of football because of injuries, and then now being worth barely even 1/10 of the value that you used to be only 3 years ago, and he's still only 31. Eden Hazard took Cristiano Ronaldo's number. May I say, if you forgot about that, he took Cristiano Ronaldo's number. Of course, when he first joined, you could tell by the pictures that he was a little bit overweight, which isn't a thing which is rare of Eden Hazard. Sometimes he does just start the season a bit overweight and then just work his way into it. Maybe Eden Hazard has got a mentality problem in that he can't stick to a strict diet in football, and sometimes there are footballers that doesn't care as much as others about football itself, and sometimes they just want to have a laugh. So what is the root cause of this, and why is he suddenly incapable of playing football? Well, I found this quote from 2015, okay, from Jose Mourinho when he was manager at Chelsea, and he said this about Eden Hazard specifically. After lost Chelsea's Jose Mourinho more worried about Eden Hazard is being punished. Jose Mourinho says, "We've had 2 penalties in 20 matches, and I also think that people in love with football in this country, people must be in love with Eden Hazard. The way match to match he's being punished by opponents and not protected by referees, maybe one day we won't have Eden Hazard. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 aggressive fouls against him. They kick and kick and kick, and the kid resists. He's a very honest guy in the way he plays, but that's another problem." And this is what leads into the 5 sub rule, or the fact that footballers may just be playing way too many games nowadays compared to what they probably should be. Because that not just is the playing time becoming an issue, but also with how people play the game nowadays, it could be too intense, and in terms of tackles, referees could be deemed to not protect the players at times. One of the best examples of footballers that just gets, from when I watched them, just gets clattered almost every game is the likes of Wilfried Zaha at Crystal Palace, Jack Grealish, these very tricky wingers that makes the game so exciting for so many people, like the likes of Saint Maximin, for example. The art of a true dribbler is slowly fading because it just isn't safe to do it. When you take a man on, odds are they're going to want to clatter into you because they don't like when someone makes them look stupid. There's been many footballers whose careers has dwindled away due to them just not being able to perform to how they used to because of injuries and so on and so forth, such as the likes of Jack Wilshere or Alessandro Pato, players that's faded away like the likes of Kaká and Wayne Rooney. Of course, if you're a Real Madrid fan, you may feel absolutely no sympathy for Eden Hazard whatsoever. Of course, when Real Madrid got knocked out by Chelsea, there was a famous screenshot of him laughing with the Chelsea players when Real Madrid just got knocked out of the Champions League, and that, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I would be completely pissed off as well. Don't think there's one that comes close to the devastating decline of Eden Hazard at Real Madrid. A player that was once adored by a fan base that would do literally anything to keep him. They let him go, knowing that it was for the best of his career, that going to Real Madrid, that is a dream for every player, and I mean, the guy scored 6 goals in 3 seasons. The guy has missed more games of football than what he has actually played. This season in La Liga, he's played 17 games and has got 1 assist. I mean, man, this just makes me sad. On the bench, on the bench, on the bench. Not even being subbed. Eden Hazard, whose cost him over 115 million euros, is on the bench, not even getting played. Subbed on with 5 minutes left, 8 minutes left, subbed on 25 minutes left. He started against Elche, and then he plays half the game against Getafe. Then he starts for Cadiz, Athletic Bilbao, then on the bench, on the bench, on the bench. Literally, I think he started in La Liga no more than 3 games. Copa del Rey, he started 1 game against Alociano, and then 2 times on bench in the Super Copa. It's just absolutely pathetic. I do hope for Eden Hazard because he's such a... For me, he's the best player that I've ever seen live. I've gone to many Burnley games and I've gone home and away for 5-6 years, constant, okay, all Premier League games. He's the best player that I've seen live on the ball. The best player I've seen that I watch and I think, how the hell has he kept the ball? How was he doing this? I really hope that for his sake and for his career that he can end off with some sort of high. If he goes back to Belgium or go and play in Italy or anything, I want to see Eden Hazard enjoy football again. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time for another video, and peace out.